Welcome back, RC builders, constructors, and constructorettes. In today's video, we're taking a deep look at the all-new WL model 1/14 scale excavator. As a strong partner with XK Innovations, Motion RC is proud to announce WL model. This is a new brand that provides a cost-effective entry into the world of hobby-grade RC construction. WL model's first vehicle is their very own 1/14 scale excavator that we have unboxed here. This arrives RTR, meaning that it's ready to run. Everything that you need is in the box. We're simply adding 4 AA batteries to the included 2.4 gigahertz radio controller, and we're off to the construction site. Precise and powerful, this excavator is ideal for new enthusiasts sort of eager to experience the creative fun of earth moving. I'd consider it perfectly suited to both indoor and outdoor use, alongside popular RC vehicles such as other vehicles we have on motionrc.com. For example, the Huina series of 1/14 scale construction vehicles. They've got a great dump truck, an all-metal die-cast excavator, and a few other vehicles to fill out your RC construction worksite. Let's take a closer look at what this WL model excavator offers. Again, at 1/14 scale, part of me wants to call it a 1/16th because it's very similar to our all-new Henlong line of RC tanks, but this excavator weighs about 10.5 pounds. It's composed of die-cast and molded plastic parts, provides, in my opinion, the perfect balance between stability, safety, and cost. It's got really realistic articulation. These are based upon high-quality steel actuators, steel worm drives that are direct driven by motors for every joint that we see, from the boom to the stick, which is that outer arm, to the bucket itself. Pretty neat. All of this is, of course, controlled with modern 2.4 gigahertz proportional controls. The most important thing to me that differentiates a hobby-grade product from the toy-grade products are proportional 2.4 gigahertz control, modern lithium-ion batteries, and of course, having spare parts support. And on all three of those facets, this WL really shines. It's got the 2.4 gigahertz radio that's going to give you proportional inputs, and by that we mean very fine motor inputs. We can actually climb, as you'll see here in the clip, we can climb using this excavator over obstacles, actually strong enough to hoist itself up, which I think is very neat, and also have the leeway to execute fine motor movements and larger, faster sweeping movements. So as a realistic articulating excavator, this model from WL features full 360-degree unlimited traverse. And by that we mean that the house, which is this main area above the track system you see here, can rotate infinitely in either direction as many times as you'd like, just like the real thing. All the electronics come up through a slip ring, a slip bearing, which allows, again, infinite rotation without those wires being tangled. Now, on the ground, the majority of the weight of the metal parts are centered lower. This is a great thing for stability for newer users. We don't want a machine that's rocking left and right, especially when your boom is extended far out. And where this becomes helpful is, again, keeping that weight and that center of gravity nice and low. So all metal tracks, which I was very happy to see, and the drive system is, again, based on a 380 motor direct drive system. 1 motor per side. These are individually controllable in all directions, forward, back, and opposing as well. Now, what I really do enjoy about this excavator is WL model tried to make this unit as hobby-friendly as possible. So here we have the 2S 1800 milliamp hour lithium-ion battery. These are twin 18650 sized cells. I'm glad that they didn't use the smaller 14500s, but good large 18650 sized cells that are common in the hobby. They also use a common T connector. I'm happy to say that there's enough space inside that house to fit an XT60 to T connector adapter, for example, if you wanted to use a 2S LiPo, such as the Admiral 2S 1000 or a slightly larger battery. Another innovation that WL model has been able to pack into this excavator house is this smoker. It's really an exhaust effect, which is what we're calling it. And what I like most about it is, unlike other exhaust effect machines out there in the hobby, this one is water only. You do not need glycerin, you don't need to add any oil to it if you're concerned with a younger user possibly ingesting the oil. You don't need to worry about that anymore, because on this excavator you simply add water into the reservoir, and it's a silent atomizer, essentially. It's got a really nice amount of exhaust effect output, I think, and I like the fact that, again, it is non-toxic and child safe. Now, moving to the rest of the excavator, we see that there's zero assembly out of the box. I'd like that it's fully painted. We can literally pull it out, plug in the included main drive battery and charge it up, add our 4 AA batteries to the controller, and we're ready to go. It features lights and sound, and both of these are controllable from the radio. In addition, as we see here, there are some softer parts, some flexible parts for cabling and grab handles and the like, and this enhances the realism while reducing the likelihood that those parts will break off during transport. Key metal parts other than those aforementioned metal tracks include the metal bucket. And one of the elements that firmly places this excavator in the hobby grade category and not the toy grade category in my book is its use of steel direct drive actuators. So here we see along the main boom and along the stick towards the bucket, these large pistons. These are actual metal pistons. What you see in silver is metal, and inside them is a steel threaded worm drive. A motor housed inside the arms themselves drive those directly. And what this means, guys, is you have more direct control and more direct power into your extension and retraction movements, as opposed to, say, a more toy grade machine, which is going to use a small servo in there. It will never have the leverage that this type of system has. So the name of the game is realistic operation and articulation, but also a reasonable amount of digging force. We're able to articulate the machine, dig down into reasonably soft surfaces, and behave like a real-life full-size excavator. Now, interestingly enough, we notice that there are cutouts in the packaging, very secure packaging, for additional accessories. Now, at the time of launch, the model does not include accessories, but this hints that perhaps WL model plans to include other types of accessories for this excavator in the future. If they did, I'd surely welcome them. These are one of those very versatile platforms in real life and in the RC world, for we can scoop, dig, and bash and grab, sort of go through many different functions and operations to mimic, again, the real full-size excavator. So we're happy to see anything that they may include in future as a sold separately accessory, or even something in the box. Rounding out the feature set for this excavator is the LED light system. 2 LEDs on the boom there that are controllable directly from the radio. We can incidentally turn them on and off, and also toggle on and off the sound and the aforementioned smoke or exhaust effect. It's important to note that none of these 3 features have gradations. There isn't a volume button to make it go incrementally higher or lower. It's either all the sound on or all the sound off. The same thing with the LEDs, and the same thing with the exhaust effect. Runtime on this excavator so far is an astonishing 45 to 60 minutes, believe it or not. I'd chalk that up to likely the lower amp draw of their exhaust effect system and the overall lighter weight of their system compared to some others in the market. We've been able to run this with reasonable consistency, solidly in the 45-minute range if we're sort of taking pictures and pausing throughout movements and that sort of thing, and not a lot of actual driving. we've stretched that battery even upwards towards 55 minutes. Of course, turning the lights off and turning off the exhaust effect, if neither of those features are interest to you at the time, will increase your drive duration. Now, the included radio is again pre-programmed. We simply power on the radio, then turn on the machine. The two of them will bind instantly. And as I mentioned before, with proportional inputs, what that really means is we're able to exact smaller fine motor control movements. So I'll demonstrate here. We can depress or lower the boom with that right stick, and we can raise it in a very slow manner. We can bring the bucket in and out at different speeds. We can stop that, you notice, at any point that we like. We just remove pressure on the control input stick. Now, these proportional movements apply to all axes, both the elevation of the boom from the house, of the boom from the house, and also of the extension of the stick, which is that second outer arm that we see there in yellow, and also the bucket, which is obviously the bucket. Importantly, what this controller also allows us to do is to use all of these functions at the same time. So here we can demonstrate traversing the house 360 degrees while extending the boom and the stick and manipulating that bucket. This is important because some of the lower toy grades will only allow 1 or 2 movements at the same time. With this machine, I can essentially control all inputs. We can be driving the tracks forward at the same time as we're moving the house left or right, at the same time that we're extending the boom and the stick and the bucket all at once. There may not be many instances where we're going to do that in real life, but it is nice to see that the proportional control does apply to all inputs simultaneously. We'll wrap up here with a look at these independent drives. I do enjoy how Whaley has done this, where we can control either of the tracks independently. We can drive both of them forward, both of them rearward, one of them forward, one of them rearward in opposition to each other, or we can stop there as we see and only move one of them, and that'll allow the machine to pivot on itself. Realistic function is really what WL model was after, and it's something I think that they achieved. And I hope to see this type of innovation on other products of theirs. This is their first excavator in their lineup. Who knows what else they have in store. So let us know what you think about WL Toys getting into the RC construction space. Is this something you're excited about, as excited as we are perhaps? What else would you like to see from them? What else would you like to see from us here at Motion RC? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all the usual good stuff. And I gotta go dig some dirt. See y'all next time.